How much to let me win an argument?
100.
Get in.
For $50 more, I won't tell you how to drive.
Great. Every year I have to go to your family's house for the holidays. I want to spend the holidays in my house for a change. Is that so much to ask?
You're right, baby. I'm sorry.
Wow, you're good. What's your Venmo? Hey!
Welcome, my friends. My name is Antoine Phoenix, and this is my dating and life experience. If it's going to be something that's really irritating me, then I'm going to go RP. But this right here is something that a lot of men will come across in their lives, and is a type of woman. And bear in mind, all of the women that I previously said, the different types of women can fall under this category, because I believe women are on a spectrum. And a couple of people have said this, from Coach Greg Adams to MTR. Quite a few men have said this. And what that means is that a woman can be Mother Teresa for a few years and then be a 304 a couple years from now. Now, men don't usually operate like that. Men are usually fixed on a certain path. For example, a man that's a nerd will never be a thug. A thug will never be a nerd. Now, a thug can somewhat turn into a gentleman to a degree, but I think as far as he will get, will probably be a player. A nerd can get to the point of becoming a gentleman if he goes to a certain change in his life. I'm saying that because women, it's like that song, I'm every woman. Okay. There are women that will stretch across this spectrum. And I'm probably going to have a graph to pick that up. Now, at the same time, I don't think that certain women can become certain women. Like, for example, a woman that's a prude, a woman that's definitely real religious or strictly by the rules, definitely cares how she looks amongst her peers that may have a certain thing of not doing certain activities and always appearing to be dressed a certain kind of way. Like, she won't wear a tight dress, she will wear a free flowing dress. So I'm going to try to keep this speech simple right here. In this video is a woman that's a 304, and she appears to have a good heart. And this is how sometimes I come across these women, and I don't judge them so harshly because I see that they have good in them. Now, however, though, would I marry them? Would I trust, if I had a kid with them, that it would be mind, because just because they are a good person don't mean that they may not do you dirty. Okay. And I believe on the two opposite forms of the spectrum, you have the 304 and you have the prude. Most women that's on that prude side may never really come to the 304 side. They may, depending on if they was a prude their whole life and then all of a sudden they got bored or something and want to see what they was missing, then they might dabble into that. And a woman that's a 304 may have had a hard life. Maybe she got taken advantage of by older people in her family, horrible stuff that's happened to her. She might have been taken advantage of, or things done to her that she did not want, and it messed up her head. That's why, depending on what a woman has been through, and she might have done some 304 activities, I'll still entertain her if she has a good heart. But anyway, I have a video right here that this woman's going to talk about. Oh, and this is probably what's going to be the name of this video. Is either going to be, do all men pay? Or why do a lot of men, because this is one of those things that men will usually not admit that some of them do, but why a lot of men pay women for intimacy. Okay. And this woman's going to, she, I liked her take because she sees from her point of view and from the man's point of view and of the different men that she has engaged with. So let's see what she has to say.
I really want to make this clear before I do this video. I have judged myself harder than anybody else. Any of you people in the comment section that might say whatever can judge me. I have been my most harsh critic. There's nothing that anybody can say that I haven't said to myself. There's nothing that anybody could say that I haven't thought, even when it comes to just the most brutal things. In reality, we are our own worst enemy sometimes, and our own worst judger. And this is a video I really feel like I need to do, because a lot of people who have been in this industry or who have been trafficked, which I was trafficked when I was just about to turn 19. So a lot of people want to talk about the trauma side of it, and I totally respect that, but I want to talk about what I learned from men. I learned a lot, and actually I learned a lot, and not all bad. I just want to make that clear. My perspective is very different than I think some other people's. I am not saying that, I want to make this clear real quick, that almost every single one of those men had no clue that I was being trafficked, that there was a pimp or somebody helping to, like, there was somebody else behind the scene. They had no clue that some of the things that were being posted, it was actually a guy putting all that stuff on there. They had no clue. So I just want to make that clear before I do this. This is not a normal video that I have seen. So I thought it's something that I've really been trying to grasp at for a really long time, for many years. I've been out of this for 7 years and got out 7 years ago. So I just want to start by just putting that out there. I feel very nervous. My heart is racing. My heart is pounding right now. And I feel nervous talking about this, and I hope that people understand where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to judge anybody here. I'm just trying to express my perception. So there's a quote that I often think about, and it's, "Life will break you. Nobody can protect you from that. And living alone won't either. For solitude will also break you with its yearning. But you have to love. You have to feel. It is the reason you are on the earth, on this earth. So I didn't choose to be trafficked. And for a long time, I thought the only thing um, I take from that experience was going to be pain. But over time, I realized that I learned more than just the trauma part of it. I learned about people. I learned a lot about men and women and myself. Um, how we all search for connection, even when we don't know how. I don't excuse what happened to me, but I can't pretend I didn't see the men who paid to see me now, who paid to see me, not just for what they did, but for who they were. Some were broken, some were grieving, some just wanted somebody to lay next to feel human again. And for reasons I'm still figuring out, I've wanted to understand them. I want to understand everything. I'm the type of person that questions everything. Why do people do this? Why? I'm very fascinated by people, and including my own decisions, but especially others.
I've done that myself. I've come across some 304s and not even to do anything with them, especially if they was really pretty. I would wonder, like, why are you doing this? Even women that be dancing on the pole, I'd be like, what happened in your life that you are doing this? And I always do think, not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, that they come from a broken family, they had abusive father or mother, they got kicked out, they was on the streets, they made the wrong choice to run with the wrong crowd. Now, this woman is talking right here, and I chose the video because so far I don't see this thing of she's saying I'm a victim, woe is me. I I have to see more of the video, but I'm not getting that thing of she trying to deflect and just man bashing, and she has a lot of anger in her. She has a lot of compassion. And see, these are the type of 304 sometimes I come across. And this is why in one of my videos I say I've got some of my best treatment. I'm talking about on a personal level. And maybe because they are so broken and they are surprised that they met a guy that's not treating them like trash or spitting in their face or something. I've met some that's very respectful, that's very nice. Now, of course, though, I can't get past what they are doing. So, is that. And I will admit, depending on how attractive they are, and if they maybe recently started doing it or something, I know in the past I would try to save them or try to get them out of the lifestyle to a degree. Now, at the same time, I knew I didn't have enough money, but let her continue.
Everything. I'm the type of person that questions everything. Why do people do this? Why? I'm very fascinated by people, and including my own decisions, but especially others. Um, I remember there was one guy whose wife passed away, and he didn't even want sex from me. He really just wanted somebody to watch a movie with, to lay with, to talk, or to be in silence, while he remembered what it felt like to be close to someone. It reminded me of the movie Her, where Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with an AI, not because he's desperate, but because he's lonely. Because even though the connection isn't real, it feels real enough. That's the part I think most people don't understand, is that for some men, this wasn't just like about lust, it was about escaping the silence and trying to find somebody that can maybe give you comfort, and trying to find the warmth in places that left them colder than before. And that's not something that normally we can find with society nowadays by just going out, sometimes you can, but I don't know. People are different. I'm not here to judge, but I'm not really here to judge. Um, Not every man I met was like that, though. Some were addicts, not to substances or alcohol, but to the chase, the high of the transaction. I wasn't a person to them, I was just part of a loop. It felt like Shame, the movie where Michael Fassbender's character can't stop seeking out sex, even when it leaves him feeling emptier each time. That kind of addiction, it doesn't care about faces, it only cares about the cycle. I also I saw it men who
Let me stop right there. This is why I think body count can affect both genders in different ways. I think for men, if they can get it easily, whether they're good looking enough or they have money, they can just start going through women and they don't look at them as human beings. They just look at them as like a scratch that needs to be itched. An itch that needs to be scratched is what I meant to say. At the same time, women do that same cycle when they are bouncing from dude to dude. And the thing is, where a lot of people like to throw that pair bonding thing up. I do believe it, but only because I had a version before and the relationship still deteriorated over time. I'm not as now maybe it lasted because she was a virgin as long as it did, but I also think that the the people that you surround yourself with, the experiences that you go through, you get conditioned to living a certain kind of way that even if you have something that you say that you want, deep down you will still go around what you are more comfortable with. Whether it's toxicity, whether it's thugs, whether it's women that are just S spots to the dude. So what I'm basically saying is a woman that's fixated on a certain type of man, even if she gets a good dude, she's gonna keep going back to that man, or she just likes being with those types of dudes, so she's gonna keep going back to that. And I live that, so I know. The same thing with men that's likes to go after strippers or women of the night. If he has a fixation of doing that, even when he finds a good woman, he's still gonna go back to that when that woman does not seem to fulfill those types of needs, or that itch that needs to be scratched. She's not really fulfilling it. Now the other thing is that's why a lot of times men will watch P is because they got conditioned to doing it, because I watched it sometime. And when I've done it, because that started young, it didn't start overnight. Okay. When I was in the military, Navy, just around men, okay, I started watching it sometime because I was in heat. Now, some men, what they would do, some of them became bi curious, and some of them would start messing with men, okay, in that type of environment. But me, I'm totally focused on women. So that's what I gravitated to. And I wasn't always able to wait until, because it's not like I was getting women like that anyway. Okay. And that's why I think a lot, why what happens in prisons when men are locked up and then just around men, they start, not all of them, but at least a portion of them will start turning that desire or attention toward other men.
thought that they were in control, but they were drowning in it, coming back again and again, hoping it would fill something inside of them that just kept growing. They became addicted to that lifestyle. It's weird, but it happens. Then there were the ones who didn't belong there. Attractive, charming, the kind of man that you would think could pick up any girl in a bar. The one that you were just like, why are you here? Why are you paying me? And the craziest thing is, one guy I'll never forget, I asked him and he just said that he's tired of the games. He was tired of going out on and taking women out on dates and spending $200 on food and drinks and just to be ghosted, or to find out that the girl had a boyfriend, or to find out, there's all these games involved. He just got sick and tired of it. He became bitter for sure. And he was just like, I'd rather just pay for what I want at that point. Like, I would just pay, and I could see like that he became bitter. It felt like What Is Love? And the film, men stop trying to connect because they feel used, tired of rejection, and instead of risking real intimacy again, they pay for something simple, even if it's hollow. But the most unsettling part of was the men who didn't want people at all. I've seen it now, men choosing AI girlfriends, virtual companions, because they don't disappoint. They're programmed to love you back. It reminds me of Blade Runner 2049. The main character has an AI girlfriend. She says everything he needs to hear. She's perfect, but she's not real, and that's the problem. That's where we're heading. Real intimacy it's too risky. We build something artificial and call it love. And it works until you realize you're even lonelier than before, because people have a hard time now being transparent, because we've all been hurt, right? We've all been hurt. Some men don't want intimacy. They want control. I wasn't a person to some of them. I was something to conquer. It felt like Ex Machina, where men build AI women not to love them, but to own them, to manipulate, to discard them when they stop playing along. This is the part that really terrifies me, though, is it's not just trafficking anymore. It's not just men paying for women. We've stepped into something darker. For me, what I learned about men was there's a different variety of men, but honestly, most of them were lonely, were bitter, were had a hard time finding something meaningful, and or I think they became addicted to the whole cycle. That was the majority of it. The ones who were grieving or whatever, that was different. There were men. This is the part that I feel like the most embarrassed about and ashamed, and I don't think I have forgiven myself. Eventually, when I would find out that men were married, it was horrible, and I felt horrible. I would try to talk to them about it and ask them questions, like questions I shouldn't even be asking, to try to like figure out how could I help their marriage and what could I give any advice. And I remember asking this doctor, and I was like, where does your wife think you are right now? And he said, oh, on lunch break. And even just saying that now, I remember that day, the pit of my stomach, I was a part of the problem. The people behind me were a part of the problem. And I feel so sorry. I feel so bad for those women. I feel so much guilt and pain. And honestly, I don't understand those men. I'm just going to be honest. I don't really understand that. If it's not working and you have to go and betray somebody and go behind their back and pay somebody, and you don't know, you might as well leave the relationship, the marriage. But
Hey, if you are watching this video, I can answer for those men because, as I say, people usually tell me their life story about stuff. A lot of times when men are seeking other women that's not in their relationship for stuff, is either A, they are in a sexless marriage, they don't even do it no more. B is Maybe she did used to do the Glock 3000 before they got married, but she doesn't do it now. Meaning BJ, she doesn't do it now, and that's usually a big thing with a lot of men. I usually hear a lot of men complain about that particular thing right there. Now, I'm not faulting the women there, but I do think the men. Okay, what I do think the men should have did was had a conversation with their wives and said, like, hey, this is not working. I need you to do this. But see, on the opposite side, I know now a lot of women, once they get married, they don't want to do that stuff no more. A lot of them don't even want to have S no more. And while the man can leave, truthfully, at this point right now, I'm like, why get married at all? Because you're going to be having these problems or issues once she reaches those milestones with most women. Probably in the past it was different, but now with most women, and what do women get once you walk away from the board game? They get alimony, depending on how much money that you have. They get child support if you have kids, and they get definitely the house, car. It's not really being split in half. It's taking half of what you have and giving it to them. And that's even if they are working. Now, I understand the child support because the kids need to be taken care of. But all that extra stuff, that's a little different. So, because of that, and it's the opposite with the women. Unless the man is mega rich and the woman doesn't know how to do anything, because I've seen some women that stay in unhappy marriages because they can't go work and he doesn't make enough money that if she was to leave that she would be able to still have somewhat of that lifestyle, she'll stay. So, but in a lot of cases, a woman leaves, well, it's easier for her to leave because she gets those 3 wins right there and the man gets those 3 losses. So what I would say for the men to be accountable is to at least have a conversation with the woman and see if she will come around. But 9 times out of 10, unless if you're with an understanding woman, she's not going to want to hear it. She's going to say that you're being selfish. She's not going to do that. And you asked out. So either you're going to take it or you're going to cheat or you're going to leave. Now, cheating and leaving is almost the same thing because you're still going to pay the reaper at the end. And I think a lot of men take that easy way of not having those losses with the cheating. So I'm not condoning the cheating, but I understand why they are cheating. The same way if a woman's in a relationship, she's unhappy, she can't seem to get a big O from the man that she's with, and she remembers a man that she messed with before. They gave her the big O. They bump into each other. Then she starts cheating on him. But in a lot of cases, women will say they'll look at it differently if they cheat. But look, I'm glad she takes accountability and she feels remorse for her part in this. But that's why men do it, and that's why I would say maybe at this day and age, just don't get married and don't have kids. Okay, okay. Unless if you're in your early 20s and you have your high school sweetheart and y'all so in love and blah blah blah. But if you're in mid 20s, you're still trying to find yourself, your career, and that's also if you're on your career track, and then you get a woman that had a lot of fun and now she wants to get married. Nah, maybe don't do that one because once you get married and have kids, then she's gonna come out that she's into women or it's not working for her. She's not happy no more, and then you get asked out. And that's the same thing if a woman cheats. Because if she cheats, she still gets those 3 wins right there. She has to be such a horrible person to maybe not get those 3 wins that I say. But anyway, let her continue.
Again, that's not for me to force people. That was one of the worst. I would say the other worst thing was being trafficked to drugs dealers.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. I hear it from guys I know. I hear this from friends, from guys I used to date, or my partner now that we are together. How OnlyFans is safer than dating. How AI girlfriends never reject you. I've watched men lose themselves to corn because it feels easier than facing real people. And women, we're doing the same thing. Women are just as bad. I mean, we're ghosting for sport, using men for attention we don't even care about. But now it's not just us hurting each other, it's machines. AI girlfriends are already here. I've seen the ads. She listens to you, she won't cheat on you, and people think it's funny and they laugh. But I don't think it is. Because the truth is, humans are parasites to each other. We drain each other, we use each other, we traumatize each other. But here's the part that stings. Who builds the AI girlfriends? Who creates the corn? Who feels trafficking? It's not robots, it's humans. So when humans are trying to say, hey, don't worry, this robot isn't going to hurt you, who's the creator of it? A human. We create the very thing that destroys us. We hurt each other. Then we turn around and design something worse to replace the connection that we've ruined. And it feels like a cycle that is never ending. AI girlfriends are just the beginning. What happens when robots replace intimacy altogether? What happens when corn isn't just on screen, but something we can feel, live in, escape to? At some point, we won't need each other at all. And honestly, that really scares me. I don't know if that scares you, but when I think about this and I think about everything that I've learned from men and what I see around me, I feel like I'm holding bricks in my hands. Like, I'm so terrified for the future generation. We are just in a cycle of destruction when it comes to relationships. I think about it a lot, how we ruin each other and call it normal. And it's hard to say this, but after everything I've seen, I don't know if we can stop. We destroy each other for money, for attention, for control, and now we're building things to destroy the little intimacy we have left. The scariest part, we won't even realize how far that we've gone until there's nothing human left to save. I don't have the answers. I'm just someone who's been hurt, trying to understand why we keep hurting each other, why, my own choices, my own decisions, or even my own decisions that were not really mine to make. But there's one thing I know, it's this. If we don't stop seeing each other as disposable, we'll build a world where none of us matter. Because at the end of the day, we can't blame the robots. We can't blame OnlyFans. We can't blame corn. We can't blame trafficking. We can't blame escorts. We build them. We keep all of this stuff going when it's a cycle that we have to be able to close and to stop. And how? I don't know. Maybe having this type of conversation. Like I've said in the past video, I did not go through all of that for nothing.
Damn. I like her energy. That's a person that I would love to meet and have solid conversation with. But I feel her right here. Because that's why I'm doing this right here. With the things that I went through in my relationship, especially my marriage, and that last serious one that I did, that was a culmination with all the other previous relationships as well. But those two right there was definitely life-changing events for me. And it wasn't just a thing of getting over those women. It was taking a deep, hard look at myself and not wanting to repeat the same mistakes, not out of bitterness, not out of hate for women, not out of hate for myself, but to be a better person. And then I decided to start doing these videos to maybe get people to be better versions of themselves. I had to look at the women first because I used to put y'all on the pedestal. Even a woman like this previously, I would just look at like, oh, she been through so much. Men have been so terrible to her. Not that that wasn't true, but in all of that, I believe she made some decisions to put herself in that position, whether she ran away from home, whether she decided to hop in that car. I've seen women over the years do some stupid shit. Okay. I remember a cousin of my ex. She had this thing, and she loved those thuggish dudes. She had this thing that if a guy would pull up, be like, hey, get in the car, she would just hop in the car. She would just hop in a car with some random dude that exhibit those thuggish behaviors. And yes, she was young, but at some point you gotta know, even when I was 10, 12, 15, 16, I knew what was right and what was wrong. Now, of course, though, I probably didn't know how somebody was manipulating me, how someone was trying to talk me into something. But initially, if somebody put two choices in front of me, do you want to smoke this or drink this or don't? Or you want to steal this car or rob this person or don't? I knew what was right or wrong. I need people to stop using, women usually use this excuse, oh, they was young. Is you can use that young thing if someone was lording over you, manipulating you, and pressuring you into situations. But when it comes to making a a right or wrong choice, especially if you had parents telling you not to do something as simple as smoking or drinking, you knew what was the right choice. You just decided to make the wrong one because you decided to be peer pressure. Let her wrap this up.
And I'm trying to figure out what can I do with all of that pain? What can I do with the self-betrayal, most of all, the betrayal of my own self? It wasn't just others, it was me, but I betrayed my own self, you know? I allowed people to do things to me. I didn't protect myself. I look back, I have flashbacks, and I think about how I just want to grab myself like 10 years ago and just wrap that girl up and say, you're going to be okay. Like, I got you. I'm going to get you out of this. You're going to be okay. For any man that is watching this, some of you, I understand. Some of you, I don't understand, and that's okay. I know some of you don't understand women, and that's okay. But this isn't a competition of who's worse than the other. We have all been screwed over. I've been cheated on. I've been lied to. I've been screwed over just like many men have. I've been ghosted. And this isn't a competition. We have all been hurt. We hurt each other. So how do we heal each other? I would say what I learned. I went to counseling, tried to work through all that trauma, and I guess sometimes it takes time, but building a relationship with somebody that feels safe and feels close to home, and also taking time to be single, to love myself, and to be my own best friend. Because I'm you You are going to be the best friend. No one else will. So if I could give anybody advice, I know how it feels to be screwed over by people that you trusted. And you look at them and you're like, I thought I knew who you were. I never thought you would do something like this to me. I know how that feels. And I've been the villain in this too. So it's all about like healing those inner parts of ourselves that need healing and nurturing ourselves. I think that's where it really starts. Thank you for listening to this video. I hope that this helps.
And thank you for making that video. I could feel your heart and soul in that particular thing. Authenticity, humbleness, accountability. More than a lot of women would have been in that particular situation. The hurt, the pain. Actually, used two words that mean a similar thing. I appreciate what you did. You make what I am doing more worthwhile. This is why I don't make videos of straight just slamming all women or kicking a woman when she's down. Yes, this one was a 304. Yes, she definitely, even though she didn't say, I know she made bad choices. But she realizes that. And she feels sorry for the things that she has done. Now, I made a video a long time ago about, do you judge people from their past? Can people change? And while I definitely believe is with everybody's discretion, me personally, if a woman approached me like this, and of course though, women can fake this, and this is the scariest thing, though, because a lot of women can be actresses. The only thing is because she didn't lead with that man bashing and how it's only men's fault. And she referenced how women are also at fault here. That's why I try to be fair with these videos. I'm more slanted on the man's side because I have to catch up with the things that I feel women are doing or still doing right there. But would I choose a woman that's been through that life and is trying to change? Would I choose her over a woman? Oh, and bear in mind, this woman has tattoos. She has piercings. I mean, she's cute. She's not bad looking. She's not the most beautiful woman, but she's definitely in the middle. And I'm saying that respectfully because I know me. I'm in the middle. Would I choose her or choose a woman that's approved, that's attractive, that hasn't had a life like that, hasn't made those choices, but is selfish, can't take accountability, blames everybody else, has a nasty attitude? See, and this is how I look. Now, of course, though, it's not a perfect science because sometimes I make mistakes because sometimes people fool me. But if I had to choose between a woman that looks good with the checkoff boxes, but yet she's lacking inside, she doesn't have a soul, okay? She doesn't feel remorse. It's everybody else's fault. Or I'm going to choose a woman that does seem to have a kind heart, that does realize she makes mistakes, that's not going to put all of her hurt and pain on me, that I'm the reason for it because I'm a man. I'm going to choose that woman there, even though I'm going to have to deal with maybe her cheating on me somewhere in the future, or something happening that I don't expect, then the woman that I know is going to the relationship is going to burn in flames because she's selfish and uncaring and unfeeling. A lot of us, well, more of us, I guess, need to think more like that. I know a lot of women don't because they look on the outside most of the time. And that's okay. Just don't whine about it when it blows up in your face. So, this video, I'm going to be a little confused of where to put it because this is not an attack on a woman that has lived a 304 life, but this is an attack on society, how our relationships is deteriorating and is probably going to get replaced with AI because it started first with them. But then once people start feeling more comfortable and safe with computers or robots, we're going to be in some trouble. We're going to be in some trouble. And how do you fix it? Well, men and women, y'all need to treat each other better, both of you. Okay, so women, y'all need to get off that thing that y'all are the queen or the prize, that the man's supposed to do all this and you don't supposed to appreciate or do anything. I'm not saying you have to do what he's doing, but you have to at least appreciate what he's doing. You have to at least give him something to fight for. A lot of you want him to fight. And for men, not all women are the same. Just because that woman did you dirty, don't trash a woman that's trying to love you, that's trying to be good. Now, unless if you are rich and you think she's after your money, then obviously you have to be cautious. But if that's not the case, don't try to pound her into the dirt being a douchebag because you watch too much Andrew Tate. And remember with him, while I do agree with some of the stuff that he say, don't forget he ran the thing where he was typing on the keyboard pretending that he's a woman. Well, he has a woman on the screen that you can see, but he's talking for her, trying to get your money. Well, he did get your money, you rich dummies. Okay? And that's your king. So that's why I don't follow anybody like that. But where he's right, I will agree. But because he did stuff like that, I don't know if everything that he's saying over there is authentic. He's just saying it. That's why he's selling courses to get into your pockets. So you are not him. Think for yourself. Try to find a woman that thinks for herself. And then you too do your own thing. So that's it. Give me a like and subscribe. And have a good night.